Hi, and welcome to Old School Blues Guitar. I am in the process of redoing a lot of my early lessons when I didn't have as good a lighting and I didn't have a new camera like I have now with HD. And I'm starting with my electric blues guitar instrumentals, and in this lesson I'm going to redo one called Earl's Boogie Woogie by Earl Hooker. It's in the key of E, and this is a great tune. There are so many cool licks, many of Earl Hooker's signature licks and ideas you can hear in this song. It's a pretty approachable song, a lot of cool things that are simple to play. Let's start out with the introduction, and it's in the key of E, and there's a few things in this tune, especially with the chords, that when I did the original lesson a year or two or three ago, whenever I did that, I didn't really know what these chords were. I thought I did, but I was wrong, and I listened to this again and again, and I heard some stuff, and I understand what it is now, so we'll update the whole thing. Start with the introduction, and he starts out with this. And that is the opening lick of the introduction. And he's sliding. We're in the key of E. So this is a typical E type lick, and he's sliding from the 4th fret of the 2nd string to the 5th fret, and he's getting both the 2nd and 1st string. So it's again. Then he does this. So he's going from the 5th fret to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, open 2nd string, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and he does something like that. Open 1st, open 3rd string, 1st fret. And then he does this E chord by just quick. To me, it would have to be a strum up to be able to do what he does next, but he's going to combine some chord licks with the boogie bass. So let me just play the whole thing for you the best I can. That's what I'm hearing for the introduction. I'm just learning this myself. So what he's doing is he's combining these chord riffs with this with the boogie bass. And I think he's playing both these parts. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's got a second guitar player on here, but from what I understand, Earl Hooker, did this stuff himself. So you can do it, it's just the timing is a little tricky to be able to play it quick enough. So he's going into this. And so that first part, I think he's going right into this. And this is a boogie thing. I've got my first finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and I'm leading into the very first one like that to get the timing right. So I just hit that chord. Now normally I will play this open 6th string, but I'm going right to the 3rd and 4th fret. He's going 3, 4 on the 6th string, 3rd fret, 4th fret on the 6th string. So it's like that. So let's do the whole riff. So that's what it should sound like. I'm thinking too much. So that's the boogie part. So it's open, or actually 3, 4, and you're getting both the 6th and 5th strings. And then that open is the first finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, or 2nd fret of the 5th string, with the open 6th string. Or you could, it's kind of hard to hear exactly what's going on. It could be just getting the 2nd fret of the 5th string. So that's what I think he's doing. Then he's doing the chord. Could be a downstroke, but but to me it sounds like quick upstrokes on the open first and second string of that E chord, plus maybe the third string. So I've just got my E position. I'm just using 2 fingers. First finger on the first fret of the third string, and my second finger is getting both the 4th and 5th strings at the 2nd fret. So that whole first part, whoops. And then he's going to go E, A7. So there's your E, and that to me sounds like a downstroke. And then A7, so there's your A7th chord. My first finger is on the 2nd fret, barring the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, and my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So he goes this way. And then he does the boogie bass on the A. So I'm just doing the same thing. Same thing I did there, moving everything over and getting the 4th and 5th string. So that's the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And then he's going to go A7th, E, to get back to the 1. Back to the boogie. So that little chord thing. And then he's going to go into the 5, he's going to start on the 5th string, 2nd fret, 5, 6 on the 5th string. This is like a B. Instead of doing that, he's going to do 4th fret of the 4th string, real quick into a B7th, A shape, A7th shape, same thing we did here, and move it up 2. So the whole thing is kind of a quick punch on that chord. And then he's going to go to the A. Something like that. So he's going to go open, 5th string, 4th fret, 5th string, 2nd fret of the 4th string. I can't remember exactly, I got it tabbed out. It might be this quick. Kind of pull off thing from 5, 4 to 3 on the 4th string. I think that's it. Check out the tab and then winds it up. Open 6th string, 3, 4, 5th fret, 2nd string, or 2nd fret, 5th string, 4th fret, 5th string, 2nd fret, 4th string, and a B7th chord. And that's the introduction. Let me try to play the whole thing through. This is one of the trickiest parts of the song. So it starts out. This part, I think that's what he's doing. I always forget. And that's the first verse. So that's the introduction and the first verse of Earl's Boogie Woogie, which is one of my all-time favorite instrumental tunes. For Earl's Boogie Woogie by Earl Hooker, he's going to go into these double stop licks. So he wraps up the, let's just take it from the 5 of the first verse. That's kind of rough, but that's what he's doing. So he's going to do these double stops, which is an E7th. Here's an E double stop, with my first finger on the 7th fret of the first string, my ring finger on the 9th fret of the second string. It's just going to take that 3 frets up to the 10th and 12th fret. So he starts out and so he's staying on that. This little riff, he's going, starting with his first finger on the 9th fret of the first string and the second finger on the 10th fret. Just one little stroke. And then just moving that shape down too. So his first finger is on the 7th fret of the first string. Second finger is on the 8th fret of the second string. So let's do that whole first riff. And then he's going to go to this double stop on the first and second strings at the 12th fret. And he just does that. And then back into that original double stop. So it's on the 12th fret. And then, and sometimes when he comes off of this, sounds like he gets the open first and second strings just a little bit. Like that. You have to listen to the recording and hear what he's doing. So let's do that whole part. Like that. Then he does something like that. And then this little chord turnaround that you hear throughout the song. So let's do that part. Can't remember the exact thing, but that's what he's playing. Same thing. And then he's coming up here. E, A, E, B7. You'll hear this, you'll see this on the diagram just marked out as the chord. That's what I think he's doing, just kind of strumming some chords. So let's do that whole second verse and do it slowly. Close to what he's doing, if not note for note, but the positions and all that are right. So that is verse number 2 of Earl Hooker's Boogie Woogie. This is probably the most complicated part. He starts it out. I'm just going to break this part down phrase by phrase and kind of inch our way through it. Listen to the original recording to hear it all the way. Sounds to me like he's doing this slide into the, from the 4th to the 6th fret on the 3rd string, and then 5th fret of the 2nd string. So it's like that. Then he's going to go little bend on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. I'm using all 4 of my fingers, my pinky, on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. Then this. And I'm going back and forth between the 5th fret of the 2nd string and the 6th fret of the 3rd string. And then I'm going to come down on the 7th fret of the 2nd string and slide it off like that. So the whole thing, that's what I'm hearing. And then he does it, and listening real carefully, it sounds like he's doing this slide again to the 2nd fret, or the 2nd string 5th fret, and then continuing to slide from the 7th to the 9th fret on the 2nd string, and then 7, 9 on the 1st string. He does that little riff. So 7th fret of the 1st string, 9th fret of the 2nd string, 9th fret of the first string, 9th fret of the 2nd string, and 9th fret of the 1st string. So it's like this. Let me play that slowly. That's what I hear going on. So the whole first part. And then he goes. So he's going to do that slide again. He's going to get 7th fret, 8th fret on the 2nd string. He's playing over an A 7th shape. So that's over the 4 chord. If you visualize that, he's just playing that 7th note, the 8th fret of the 2nd string. So he's doing the slide, and then doing that riff again. And then he does this again. Again. So let's do that whole solo part, real slow. And this part does a little slide, I think. 5, he's going to do this. So he's just playing over the B7. So he's going to go from the 10th fret of the 1st string, 8th fret of the 1st string, 9th fret of the 2nd string, back to the 7th fret of the 1st string, winding up on the 9th fret of the 2nd string. So that lick, he's just playing over the B7. That's it right there. And then he does this. And this is just another riff over the A7. Doing that again. So I'm going back between the 7th fret, 5th fret of the 2nd string, 6th fret of the 3rd string. So let's do that whole thing from the 5. Then he goes to the B7th. To me, that's the hardest part. Let's go through that whole solo part, nice and slow, and see if I can get it right here. So it's like this. Except that last part is right there. So we'll take it from the 5. And that's the end of that verse. Start out like this. So this little melodic kind of thing is just a repetitive riff that's really cool. It's based on this little double stop thing in E, but he's leading into it with these single string runs. Starts out sliding from the 8th to the 9th fret twice. And he's going to bounce back and forth between the 9th fret of the 3rd string and the 11th fret of the 4th string. Like that. And then it sounds like it's getting the double stop, 12th fret, 1st and 2nd strings, 14th fret, 2nd and 3rd strings. Then he's doing this little hammer-on double stop with his first finger on the 12th fret, 2nd and 3rd string, bringing his second finger on to the 13th fret of the 3rd string, and he's still picking the 3rd and 2nd strings. It's like that. So the whole riff, and it could be doing this, playing that to to the 14th fret of the 4th string. It's kind of hard to hear on the record with the piano and everything going. So you could do this. That might be what he's doing. He goes back to this riff. This time he doesn't slide in. He just plays it. Then when he gets over the 4, he does the same riff. And so to play over the 4, he's just doing this. 14th fret, 2nd and 3rd strings, 12th fret, 2nd and 3rd strings. So to the 14th fret of the 4th string. Then back to the 1. And he's going to wind up on that riff right there. So that's the second verse or the third verse of Earl's Boogie Woogie. Earl's Boogie Woogie. He's going to do this bend to start it off from the previous verse. So he starts it out. That's how he goes in there. So the lick is a single string bend on the 2nd string. He's got his first finger, I would guess, on the 12th fret of the 2nd string, and his pinky on the 15th fret, and his other 2 fingers in between. And he bends and does a little vibrato. And then he does this double stop. 12th, 14th fret, 2nd and 3rd string. Hammer on to the double stop. 12 to 13 on the 3rd string. 14th fret of the 4th string. So the whole first lick. And then very quickly he does it twice. 2 bend. Then he does this lick again. Again. Now over the 4. Same thing we did in the previous verse. Instead of hammering on, we're just going to get the 12th fret, 2nd and 3rd string. Again. Does that again. So that's the bending part. So let's take it from the beginning. So he does this from the previous verse. That's the end of the previous verse. And then he does this on the 14th fret of the 4th string. Kind of a quick picking staccato thing. Like that. Just a typical electric blues double stop thing. And he's going to go into this double stop on the 12th fret, 1st and 2nd string. Something like that. Let me play it in context. Something like that. And then he's going to do the chord turnaround. Whoops. So let's take that whole verse slowly one time. The end of the 4th verse. 3. For the next verse, which is another kind of tricky one, he's going to start out with this little riff. And then he's going to go. The whole thing. So I didn't play that all the way through. I'm still trying to get good at doing this, but I think I know what he's doing. He's sliding from the 6th to the 7th fret on the 3rd string. And then he's doing this little riff down here. 2nd fret of the 3rd string, hammering on, open to the 1st fret of the 3rd string. And and then second fret of the fourth string. So the whole thing. And he's doing the boogie bass, just kind of a part of it, so he keeps this going. So the whole first riff. Then he goes to the second, sliding 7 to 9, or 8 to 9. Don't know which one. Same thing, same boogie race. Then he's going to slide to the 12th fret, 10th to 12th on the third string. Same lick, but now he's going to go to the A bass. Like that, and then back to this. Sounds to me like a B7, A7, B, B7. So he does that chord turnaround again. So let me take it real slow and try to play it one time through and see if I can do it. I usually screw up when I do this. And that's what I think he's doing. This part. It takes some skill to get the right sound. These parts up here or down here aren't too bad. This one, I think you just have to do it real deliberately and make sure you get that slide before you worry about the boogie bass. So that is the next verse, and another kind of tricky one. Most of the rest of this is pretty straightforward. Boogie Woogie, Earl's Boogie Woogie goes like this. Something like that. This part, I'm still working on the timing, but that's what he's playing. So he's doing these double stop riffs combined with the boogie bass. And it sounds to me like the boogie bass is doing. So it's again. So it's like like that. Let's do it again. Then he does it. So it sounds to me like he's going. Same thing. Open second string. Second fret of the third string. Open. And that's taking us into the A7th chord. So we're going into an A boogie. And then for this part, something like that. He's sliding this double stop on the second and third strings, first finger on the second fret, second string, second finger on the third fret of the third string, sliding it up. Something like that. Check the tab, and I've got it all exactly tabbed out. That little riff. And the chords. So let's try it slowly, all the way through. The next verse of Earl's Boogie Woogie. Here we go. Next part of Earl's Boogie Woogie, he's going to do these chord vamps behind the piano solo. And the first one goes like this. Whoops, I hit my control switch. So the first part is. So he's playing out of this long E shape. Got my first finger barring at the 9th fret, 4th, 3rd, 2nd strings, and my pinky on the 12th fret of the 1st string. So the whole chord, that's an E, and if you listen carefully you can hear this. So he starts out with a, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, and then he's going to get the long E, and then to a 7th, by taking his pinky off and putting his 2nd finger on the 10th fret of the 1st string. So the whole riff. And then he's going to take that E7 shape once to an A7. So this A7, and I assume he's playing it like a F shape with the pinky on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, making it a 7th. So he's going from the E7, and that's his transition from the 1 to the 4. So the whole thing. Then he's going to go A7, back to the long E, back to the E7th. So it's like this. And then he's going to go E7th to a B7th. So it's like this. And then he's going to get this long B, A7. This is part that I had to hear, listen to it very carefully to get it. So he's doing this from the A7. So let's play the whole verse. There's a piano solo going, and he starts out with this. Like that. You can play that A7th like this. I was trying to play it like this. Getting a little clumsy, so I could do this. But if you listen carefully, I think he's just playing the top 4 strings. So he's most likely playing that shape right there. So one more time, let's walk through that. The first chord vamp. I do another chord vamp, and this time he goes. Kind of neat. Changes the rhythm. So he's starting out. So when he first does it, it's just like an E 2nd position bar chord, but I would guess he's just using one finger, and he's just 1, 2, 3, and then he's going to quickly drop that pinky in for the long E. You can hear it if you listen carefully. And he goes here, and he's playing an A7, so he's playing over the A, the 4. Doing a chord version of that. Now he's probably playing it like this, where he's got his first finger on the 7th fret of the 4th string, his 2nd finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, his pinky on the 9th fret of the 1st string, and his ring finger on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. That's a shape Robert Johnson used in some of his slow blues in A. So he's going from this. He's going to here. I'm sorry, he's doing this. like that. So it's, I'm doing that because I'm not that good at this chord yet, and I'll probably miss it, but that's what he's playing. So if you can switch, there, that wasn't too bad. So it's back to the long E. Then he's going to play this B7, which is really neat. I'm playing like a D shape, but on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. My first finger's on the 7th fret of the 4th string. My second finger's on the 7th fret of the 2nd string, and my ring finger is on the 8th fret of the 3rd string, and then my pinky is on the 9th fret of the 1st string. At first I thought he was doing this 7th shape, but this is it. So he's doing. So the whole first part, so it's like this. Then he's going to do this, where he's doing this E7. I call this the Freddie King chord. In E, it's like an E7th chord. Got my first finger on the 9th fret, 1st and 2nd strings. My pinky, so it's really like a long E. My pinky on the 12th fret of the 1st string. My second finger is on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. Then my ring fingers on the 12th fret of the 4th string. And he's doing this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So like this. Sounds to me like downstrokes. And then 1. And that's how he wraps up that verse. So let's do the whole thing slowly. I'll see if I can do it right. And then he's going to head into the final verse and the end of the song. He kind of repeats some things he's already done. He's going to head back into this lick. And then he's going to stop. He's going to start there. Then he's going to do this. And wrap up the song. So he's doing the same kind of thing. He doesn't slide in like he did. He's just going to go twice on the 9th fret of the 3rd string, 11th fret of the 4th string, back to that, and then this double stop. So again, this time over the 4. And I can't tell if he's doing getting the 14th fret of the 4th string in there, like that, or if he's just stopping there. So is it? I think that's what he's doing. I think he is getting to that 14th fret of the 4th string. And there, I know he quits, and then he's going to do this bend. So it's like, listen to the original recording, check my tab. Going from the 12th to the 14th fret, 12th fret of the 3rd string, 14th fret, he's bending up on the 14th fret of the 3rd string. Something like that. And then one more of those. And I can't really figure this part out. It sounds like he's going to the B7, just real quickly, and then he's going to slide. Basically a 1-finger 9th chord on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings from the 2nd fret to the 9th fret, which makes it an E 9th. That I had to listen to a couple times to get it. So he wraps it up. Through this a little quicker than I did the first time I did this lesson, but I was just trying to, go over the stuff and get you to the tab, and it's pretty straightforward if you listen to it. What's tough is getting the coordination, to be able to play some of those things and play it right. I haven't got it all practiced and memorized, but I figured out what he's doing, and that's what I'm trying to share with you. So there's a redo of Earl Hooker's Boogie Woogie, Earl's Boogie Woogie in the key of E. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. And I am redoing most of my electric guitar instrumentals. I'm going to try to do a couple every couple months or so until I have them all updated. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. And I will be starting my September, October lessons here pretty quick, probably next week, and get those out for you. Let me know if you have any requests, and I'll see you again soon.